Today we're going to go over how we cut this table leg on our milling machine / duplicate machine. We're going to go over on what bits we used and the process in which we did it. We took an old piece of 4x4 knotty pine. We're making this for an entry table. We're going to do a distressed wood, so that's why we chose some of the barky type corners and stuff. We didn't want this to be a perfect piece, so working out pretty good. We've made several these legs so far, and we're going to go over on how we did it. So let me get things ready, and we'll discuss how we marked it off and chucked it up into the machine. And right now we'll go over how we attached it to our machine here. Is we used a 3/4 inch coupling. Okay, this is how we attach it to the headstock, and we put a bolt up inside of it, and we tapered it off. I don't know if you can see that, into a point in the center. This is our center point for when we mark it on our wood. And then afterwards, you just take it and stick it on your wood, or like that, and then screw it in, and it holds it quite well. And it only costs a couple bucks, and that's the shaft that we used on our machine. Was a 3/4 inch bolt, and this is what holds the gearing, and it works real well, and it don't cost a whole lot of money, and we haven't had any problems as of right now with this. If anything, I'm going to make me about 5 or 6 of these. That way I can get a bunch of legs together. When I'm done with one, I can just reach over and throw in the other one and have the same setup ready to go. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and mount this, and then we'll show you how we mount it into our machine and how it works. And we'll show you how our machine works and how we cut the burley twist on this. Okay? Hold on. Okay, we got it mounted to our 4x4, which is actually 3.5 by 3.5, I believe. So we'll put it in here. See if we can get this put in. You just stick it in there, and you see the bolt sticking out right here. What we call the headstock, I guess, of this lathe. Hardest part sometimes is getting this just right where it'll screw in without, there we go, too much trouble. Just tighten it up, go up to that bolt that's already there. Now, okay, then we just got our tailstock back here. We'll stick it in. I don't know if you can see it, but handles on the back. Let me focus in on the tailstock a little bit so you can see it. Oops, sorry about that. See our tailstock. We got a live center right here, and underneath we got our crossbar support. This is what holds our live center. Now, when we're running duplicates, we'll put another one right here. Okay, so we'll run 2 pieces at the same time. So either you can duplicate one, or have 2 set up to make the same leg. That way, during the same process or same setup, you can take that same bit and cut both of them, then change bit, cut 2 at a time. And underneath, you'll see here we got a handle, a knob, right, and that's what tightens this down. So it slides in and out. We've got about 2 to 3 inch adjustment on that. Worked quite well. But anyway, that's how that is. And the bit we're going to use, we're just going to plane the center off right now. We're just using a planer bit, right like that right there. We'll chuck it up here in a minute. And then you can see our headstock that we got, how we mounted it. Now this bolt here gets cut off. It's just working on experimenting right now. But anyway, you just tighten this up between these two, and then the gearing and everything's right over here. And you can see what we've got. We're running a 20 tooth, a 35 tooth, 60 tooth down to a 20. Then it goes from a 62, I think, or 63. Now right here we got a 35 tooth to cut this one because we're planing, so we don't want it to turn quite as, or we want it to turn faster. So we put this bigger gear on. But when we get ready to cut the burley twist, then we got another 20 tooth gear that'll go on here in place. And this is our index wheel. Now our index wheel is aluminum, And you can see our marks that we have in there, our holes pre-drilled. So we can pull it out and see if I can get this. That way you can turn it. Oh, I got it too tight. Let me loosen that up. Hold on for a minute. Okay, I think we got this here worked out. I had my bolt too tight. So let's go over this a little bit. Now this is our indexing gear. This will turn without the gears turning, and you notice the wood turns too. Okay? So it just turns. And each one of these holes that we have right here is spaced at 1 inch. Okay, and we have 12 holes on this. I don't know if it'll hold right there. Now what we do is you use this for positioning your burley twist, or whatever it is you want to do, flutes or anything. So depending on how big a bit and big a wood you're using, depending on which one you'll use. On this right here, our rope or burley will be about 3 3/8 inch thick, or across. So, and we're using a 2-inch bit. So what we'll be doing, we'll be using the number 12, we'll be using the number 4, and we'll be using the number 8. Okay, and that's how we're going to determine our position of each of the twists, so the rope comes out looking good, you know, or evenly spaced. Our gearing, as you can see right here, our ball screw there, it has a 20 tooth, and down here to a 35. The only reason we use this is because we didn't have enough to go over to hit this gear, so I had to add this one. Then it goes to a 60 down to a 20. So we're reducing from big to from little to big, little to big, little to big, little to big. Okay, that's how it's working. Anyway, it's a 60 tooth down to a 20. And then this in here is a 63 tooth, and now at the moment we have a 35 tooth on here. And what this 35 tooth is it don't gives you a large pitch, it gives it a little closer together, so that way you can do more planing. So if you want to round off your stock, we use this bit here, or this gear here. Now when we get ready to cut the actual burley on here, or the rope, we will take this off and put a 20 tooth on. Okay, and then that'll give us our 6-inch pitch, or around 6-inch pitch. It's not exact, but it's close enough. But that's how that works. That's what we've done with this so far. Now if you want to change your pitch, like say you just change this gear. Every time you change that gear to a bigger gear, it gets tighter and tighter and tighter. So right now, this here is going to make a nice little rotation to where we can plane off the area that we're going to actually be cutting the rope. And then we're going to take and put this off, like I said, and put the 20 tooth on, and that'll make it wider. So a 2-inch bit, when I start running the different positions, will not touch the other wood. Okay, so you'll have to make another position to make a cut to make, you know, so they'll join together. So, but the bigger this gets, the tighter your pitch will be. So if you wanted a tighter bit, put a bigger gear on this, even bigger in this one, and you'll get almost where it's almost like a thread going up, almost like like your ball screw, how this is threaded. So all you that are machinists or that do this stuff for a living, just kind of ignore this, because you probably know a lot more than what I do. But this is how I got set up and how it makes the pitch. So this is what gears I've used. I stacked them out in order so I don't have to reverse them back and forth. So you'll see this comes here, and then this whole gear comes out, and then the whole gear comes out again. That way it just stacks out. But anyway, that's what we've got there. So let me get set up here on changing our bit. We're going to start off with our planer bit right here. It's 2 inches across. Let me go put this in, and I'll show you how our measurements work. What we do is we come down like 7 inches to start here, and then we'll do from 7 down to 24, I think 25, and that'll be for the twist. And then we'll have our profiles at each end, and then at the bottom back here we'll do a foot, and that'll be done with the same bit we do the twist with. So, and then we'll come back with a round over and trim up these corners, and that's what we'll do here. Now we're not going to sit there and run the whole job through, so I'm just going to turn it on, let you see it as it's cutting, turn it off, turn it on, when the next process and stuff like that. So don't think I'm going to wear you out here with all that. But I do want to touch base on a few things here before we do. We've got our router mounted right here where it slides. That way I can put it in position when I want to change bits. Only thing I got to do is bring it forward. Here, I'm sorry about that. I moved the camera. See, it just slides back and forth like that. Okay, now I've got a stop back here. As you can see, that one back here. That's the location that my router will stop when I'm cutting the legs. Once I push it back, then I'll put my other stop right here, and that one on each side, a catty corner like that, holds this real good and keeps the router from moving out. If you don't, you'll tend to see that router, it'll walk itself right back out. So anyway, let me go ahead and get the bit changed, and we'll start. Okay, hold on. Okay, it's in, the router set up, a little dusty, but set up, and I brought it up to 7 inches. Now this is where we're going to make our first cut to round off the center, the ends we want, and the other end down there, we'll just cut it straight down. We're not going to round it off. But that table leg that you saw, it starts off from the end to the first cut is in the center, 7 inches. Okay, that way when you have a 1 inch cut that comes over, it'll give you a 6 inch top piece. So if however you want to make your table. I've got me a little bar mounted right here. It's nothing fancy, just a little L bracket bent in and drilled and tapped into the bar here. I got me a tape measure here where I can see my measurements so I can duplicate exactly what each time I put in a new leg. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to start the pass and let you kind of see it, and then when it's finished we'll come back and show you what it looks like, and then we'll set it up to do the rope. Okay? So hold on here, let me start it. If it gets kind of loud, turn your volume down. Told you wrong on that pitch, on that gear over there. That gear, 35 tooth gear, I had to turn it back around backwards in order to get it to plane it off. I still had to use 3 stars as if I was doing a piece of rope. But anyway, we've got our plane down right through here. I ain't worried about this stuff here. The next bit will come through and trim all this up. Ain't no sense in putting too much time into it. But it don't cut real bad. I've got my router is off just a little bit. You can feel a little, you can probably see a little ridge right here. The router actually has a small tilt to it, causing that one edge to dig in. But for what I'm doing right here, that ain't really bad. You'll never see it on the rope, but only time you're going to see it is when you try to plane something down like this. So I've got a little work yet to do on it. Okay, so I'm going to change the bit over and get ready to cut the rope into this. Okay, so hold on and I'll be right back. Okay, we're set up now, getting ready to cut the rope. I want to take you down here and show you the, sorry about that, the bit that I'm using. If we can zoom in on that a little bit. You can see the bit. Now it's a 2-inch. Got it through Mag-Tite or Mag-Tate or whatever it is. I'll give you the address on it here pretty soon. Now, it's set up to run the first pass, okay? We'll do this in, I can do it in 2, but it's awfully hard. We'll do it in 3 passes, each position, and we'll be doing 3 positions. So, we'll index 3 times. I'm not going to go through and show you all a bunch of boring stuff, so I'm going to do the first pass here and let you see it. And then after that, I'm going to close it out and then I'll start it back again on the last pass. Okay? Hold on. Get my depth down right here. Oh, better plug it in. I have to change the bit, so. Always plug and unplug your router before you change the bit. It don't take much to hit that switch. The speed on this right here for the medium bit, I'm running around 12,000. Experiment with a little bit. Manufacturer has a list of recommended RPMs for the size of bits. You can look at that. You may have to tweak it a little bit to find what sweet spot, you know, to cut best for you. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to start this. I'm going to loosen this up. And what I'll do is this depth gauge right here. When I reach the final depth on this first pass, then I'll set that, and that'll stay there until I cut all 4 of these legs. That way I'll know where it goes. And then when I want to change, I'll actually switch this around. This block has a step on it, and each one goes lower, so if I want to cut other depths, I can, and still have this one right here for when I get to my other legs. So we'll go ahead, we'll set the depth, or not depth, but we'll start cutting, and then we'll take it from there. So hold on to your ears. Measurements here, I'm starting at 7 and 25, but that's the center of the start and the ends of each starts. But from a rope, I always cut it a little short. So down here, instead of going 7, I'm going like 7 1/8. Down here, I'm going 24 7/8. I don't go all the way up, and the reason I do that is because I cut my starts last, where some people cut theirs first, but I cut mine last, and this keeps me from taking that router all the way over and actually making a cut into that start. So it's just something that I do. It looks real good. You can't tell the difference between that and the regular one. So keep you from making any mistakes that way. So I'm going to go ahead and get this other pass done, and I'll let you see what it looks like when I get my 3rd pass. Okay? had a little accident. I didn't have it tight enough down there, and when I was cutting that one of the starts, it actually kicked it and put it into a different position. But you see how it's doing now. This is because you see how this rope is. You have one start that's thick, one's thin, and that's because it actually kicked into a different position. So this is pretty much going to be a scrap leg, but we'll still, you know, lesson learned. So when you tighten this down, you know, it's just got to be pretty snug, because I forgot I do cut a lot at one time. So, but anyway, we've got our starts done, our rope done, and now what we're going to do is get our start and our one on each end. And the only thing I'm going to do there is I'll crank it down actually to the 7 inches here exactly, maybe a little over. You just, whatever you do on this one, you got to do on all of them. So, and this one here is scratchy, so it really don't matter. But what we'll do is we'll leave our depth the same as what we have here. That way we don't go, if we go too deep, what happens is you'll cut a groove into the top of this. So you don't want to do that. If you can go a little shallower, it's better. So we'll do that, and well, okay, right now we're going to cut the foot. I know the leg's no good now after I made that mistake up here, but I'll show you how we cut the foot with the same bit. So, but doing this is only requires 3 bits to make this leg. So we'll start right here. What I'm doing is I'm lining up the center of the bit to the edge. I've got it set on 32 inches, and it's going to cut here and then round over here, and then I'll come over here and cut here and round over here, and it'll actually make a little ball right there. So let me show you what it does. Okay, you trim this part here down a little bit. When you sand it, it makes a nice little foot. Now we'll take another bit and we'll put on this edge right here when we do this other start over here, and it'll round these corners here off like you saw on the leg. So, but that's how you do the feet. Now to do the starts, let's go ahead and crank them back. Basically it's the same thing, except you just do it on one side. You don't do it on both like you did the feet. We'll set it to 25 inches, and then we'll do this. We'll set a little over right there, and we'll cut a start over here, and this will be where the rope stops and starts. So. Now if you look, let's see here, move it around a little bit for you. Really can't see that start up there, could you? No, we'll bring it over here. Let's see here. And you see how we did the start right there? That's how you'll begin and end on the rope. So that's how it's. I mean, it's basically pretty easy. The hardest part I'm having right now is trying to film this. But that's how you do it. Now we're going to hook up one more bit, and then the leg would have been done if I wouldn't have messed it up. So, okay, hold on. Okay, I got the roundover bit in to do them corners. I don't know if you can see that right there. Okay. Now I'm going to turn it on. We'll round this corner off. Just don't forget about the direction if you're trying this yourself, or wanting to build one. But when you start cutting this, the direction of the router bit, it's awfully important on the direction you turn your spindle. So let's see what she'll do. We'll get her set here. Oh, better plug it in. Okay. let's see if we can get in on that corner there a little bit for you. You can see it a little better. Oh, that really worked. Okay. See how it rounded that corner off right there? Just like that. So that there is how the corner originally looked. And this is what it looks like when you put the round over on. Now, that in there went just a little bit deep, but when I sand, it'll sand out. See this right here? You want to really get it to where it just barely even touches. You can even bring it out a little bit to where the bottom of the bit don't touch this, and just do the round over. And that way you don't have to worry about making another groove right here. But that's how I do it. So tell me what you think about it, and leave me a message or send me an email.